Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. My name is Muhammad Yusuf. In your various lectures, you have criticized the banking system and also various financial institutions. My question is, what do you think of the Islamic banking and takaful, in which we were told that it is Sharia compliance? And how do we escape from becoming users and supporters of these various financial institutions? That's all, Sheikh.
I have a booklet outside entitled Islam and the Future of Money, the gold dinar and silver dirham. Islam and the Future of Money. Unfortunately, none of us has complete knowledge, so my knowledge of the subject is constantly increasing. And since I wrote that book, there are now 2 more chapters to be added to it. The Bretton Woods monetary system, which gave us the US dollar as the international currency, was backed by gold. That the US government undertook a responsibility under international law to redeem US dollars for gold at the rate of $35 for 1 ounce of gold. So there was some integrity in the US dollar. But only governments could redeem, only governments, not people. That's bogus. 2 governments in the world recognize that this was bogus. 2 governments in the world stood up to defy them. One belonged to this region of the world, and the other was France, General Charles de Gaulle. He recognized that this was unfair, this was bogus, and he spoke in the French National Assembly against the monetary system. And that's why they took aim at him and they got him out of power. Who was the other government? Answer? Ahmad Soekarno. Yeah, you're too young to know it. But Ahmad Soekarno recognized that in order for money to have integrity, the Indonesian rupiah had to be redeemable in gold. Indonesia has now buried this knowledge below the ground. You can't find it. They don't want people to know it. But Ahmad Soekarno wanted the Indonesian rupiah to be redeemable in gold. That you could take the rupiah to any bank and you can get gold for it. If Ahmad Soekarno was successful, the Indonesian rupiah would not be in the disgraceful state where it is now. And my daughters would not be slaves. My daughters would not be slaves picking up your garbage. My daughters working for the salary of a slave in Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. But who talks about that? So Soekarno took Indonesia out of the UN. May Allah bless him for that. People who have 1 eye can't understand it. But people who have 2 eyes would say, may Allah bless him for that. And Ahmad Soekarno took Indonesia out of the IMF. Yes, he did. Hugo Chavez is one of my heroes. He's my next door neighbor. I'm from Trinidad, he's from Venezuela. Hugo Chavez tried to take Venezuela out of the IMF and could not succeed and died. But Soekarno took Indonesia out of the IMF. And that's why the CIA had to put their stuntman Suharto and remove Soekarno so that the CIA would rule over Indonesia. 2 governments. Until eventually Dr. Mahathir, when he was about to retire, also took aim at the monetary system. But where are the scholars of Islam to tell Bank Negara? Where are the scholars of Islam? You'll have to answer on Judgment Day. You will have to answer on Judgment Day. Unless the scholars of Islam stand up and say this paper money is bogus and fraudulent and haram, your so-called Islamic banking will prosper. Is there any Islamic bank in the world which is arguing that we should bring back gold and silver as money? Dinar and dirham? None. If an Islamic bank calls for dinar and dirham, they'll shut it down. They'll shut it down. That's not my only criticism of Islamic banking, so-called Islamic banking. There are other criticisms as well. But we don't have the time today to go into that subject. But I suggest that you read my book, The Gold Dinar and Silver Dirham, Islam and the Future of Money, which is outside. It's also translated to Bahasa. Any more questions?